All right, welcome back. This is the second episode of our podcast, the Tri Camera Perspective podcast, where we talk about movies, movie news, and things that are on our mind regarding entertainment, specifically regarding Hollywood films. Um, and today we've just come out from seeing the drama. It's the new A24 film starring Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, directed by Kristoffer Borgli. Yeah, I don't know if I pronounced that right, but it's by Christopher. And it's also an interesting watch. What did you think?
I genuinely loved it. I loved Chris. I mean, sorry, Robert Pattinson's performance and Zendaya's performances were off the charts. But I wanted to focus on Robert Pattinson's performance
I agree.
specifically.
He
Um,
he was a standout to me in this film.
it's funny because I'll get into this a bit later. I struggle with social anxiety, and so having a character perform it as well as he had, especially when he's coming to something that he's very uncomfortable with, and like the level of like uncomfortability he gets throughout the entirety of the movie, I thought was nailed.
Exactly.
Oh,
Really well. Like honestly, when I come out of the film, I really thing that I have on the back of my mind the most is Robert Pattinson's performance. I really thought this was one of his best performances of his entire career, honestly, and that's saying something because he has lots of good performances. Like he has the Odyssey coming up soon and Dune Part 3. And I'm sure he's gonna cook with those as well. But like this was a really fantastic performance, and that's also not to say that Zendaya wasn't good too.
no,
Zendaya was fantastic as well, but really, I thought the tour de force performance in this movie was Robert Pattinson.
right. And going into this movie, I knew absolutely nothing. I only knew what Sam had told me about it, but even then he was very vague. Like he saw some promotional stuff. I mean, why am I explaining for you? to
Yeah, I'd seen some promotion. Like, I know Zendaya posted a bunch of there was a bunch of articles sort of inviting you officially to their wedding and stuff like that. There was a brief teaser. I didn't really see the full trailer because I didn't want to spoil too much for myself. So I saw the teaser and like the newspaper, news article stuff they did for the promotion. So that really intrigued me. I liked the premise. It was so fantastic. So, that really intrigued me to want to see this. And then I told my friend, and he went in blind.
Yeah, like I knew I was completely blind. I knew nothing about this. So I came in here originally. Do you think we can talk about spoilers here or
Okay, so this is the spoiler part. We want to go into details about the plot. So if you don't want to hear about spoilers, please log off at this point.
right? But before we get into it, I'll definitely go see this movie. This movie needs to be seen for people who love films. Go into it blind because that way you just get the best overall experience, in my personal opinion. But spoilers. Um, the moment where we have the scene where their characters are confessing what the worst thing they've ever done was, and Zendaya brings up the one thing, completely changed the direction of the movie. Um, I didn't think it would go that route. That it did, but the thing with the skull shooting and all this stuff, it just like ignited the movie and completely changed the complete tone to the point where I was feeling anxiety of every moment.
Okay. So for you, you didn't know about the twist, but for me, I didn't know what the twist was, but I knew she said something that would have that flip the tone of the film according to the teaser, right? Because the scene where they were taking the photos, the photographer was photographing the couple right before their wedding. That was part of the teaser, and then you could hear you could feel the tension, right? For me,
Right.
what I really wanted to know was, what is it exactly that caused the tension, and that it didn't disappoint for me because sometimes they build up a hype, they build up hype for like this really big plot twist and maybe it doesn't pay off, but I felt this paid off for me.
Speaking of that photography scene, that scene was amazing.
Fantastic.
So good. So good. Like there is one complaint I have for the movie. I don't think it's really a complaint, really. It's like they had these abrupt cuts at the end of scenes. I don't know if this
I
was a
thought it was a
stylistic choice.
stylistic thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I like for me, I mean, at first when I was getting into it, I wasn't sure I liked it, but as the movie went on, I was like, okay, I know what he's
yeah.
doing.
As it went, yeah.
Like,
Initially, it was
it,
jarring, but as it went on, and it kind of had the same
no,
style of editing. It felt like
no,
an intentional
it
choice.
it created tension actually, like more anxiety for me
Okay.
doing it, going that route. Um, because at first when it happens, you're like, oh, okay, That's weird. It's a bit jarring, but then when the cuts happen, you're just kind of on the edge of your seats.
Yeah, exactly. And I also one thing I was really worried going into it because I knew there was a twist when she talked about the worst thing she'd done. I was worried that the twist wouldn't sustain the runtime of the film. I'm happy to tell you that that is not the case. The premise and the twist sustain the film. Like it's very. I found it tense, riveting. The pacing was incredible. It's just fantastically directed. Like I always love it when there's a really rich and interesting premise and the filmmakers are able to deliver on that premise, and this was just one of them for me.
I want to have a controversial opinion here. Even though this movie is a completely different movie than the last movie you watched, what movie was that?
Project Hail Mary.
Right. The cinematography here was better.
I will agree. I prefer the cinematography in this.
Yes, like the lighting was better. The camera work was fantastic, and for like a but for the how I'm not. We kind of guessed last time what the budget of Project Hail Mary was, and we were kind of off by a large margin. But I assume this is a lower budget film, right?
Yeah, it's a lower budget film. It's A24. They don't make too. I think the largest budgets ever is somewhere in the 70 to 90 million. Nothing more than that.
Okay, because this movie was extremely well shot, extremely well lit. It was very professionally done. Um, even yeah, no. I thought it was a more better shot movie than Project Hail Mary. Controversial opinion aside, Robert Pattinson's performance here, as someone who struggles with social anxiety, I thought like the bit of nuance he captures, especially when he's talking to people and trying to initiate conversations, or the spiral of like the disastrous line of thinking that he sort of kind of leads himself into, was extremely relatable. Which is funny because prior to this, I was having all of this anxiety about school and all the stress that was compiling on top of each other, and I just needed a break. I wanted to escape from the movies, and watching this, I couldn't help but feel like I was Robert Pattinson's character. But it's weird seeing it from like a third perspective, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, yeah, I get what you mean. I get what you mean. Yeah, I really thought there was very a lot of nuance to the character that was captured. Like initially finding out about it, like essentially this entire film, if um Charlie, who's played by Robert Pattinson, didn't, have as much anxiety and decide to quell things down, this wouldn't have gone as haywire as everything went, as the events of this movie unfolded to be. But like, because of his anxiety and how he was overthinking it, maybe he was right to overthink it. I mean, it's a crazy premise, right? But he felt like she had changed, and if he felt that and he should have trusted his instinct if he felt like she had changed. But then he didn't, and it all spiraled into all this. So overall, I mean, it makes for a fantastic film with the spiraling and everything. So I thought there was a lot of nuance to the character Robert Pattinson played, and yeah, and also we were talking a lot about Robert Pattinson. I also thought Zendaya was really interesting as well, even though her character was a little more less.
There's something I want to bring up. The person who played the younger version of Zendaya, I thought they did a good
Is
job
that?
on
Oh yeah,
capturing her performance.
agreed, 100%.
Like you felt like they were the same character.
Yeah, I feel like there was some character, but at different stages in life.
Yeah.
Because right now she's a little more subdued and everything. And yeah, I just also, the movie had a lot to say about um, American gun violence and just um, a lot of times people like this film. The tone is sort of dark comedy. There's more comedy in this than I was expecting, but it also maintains that dark, uh, a bit of a thriller tone. But so it's I'll call it a dark comedy. Do you agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's also like a relationship story as well, because when you hear something bad about your partner, it makes you think of them differently and how hard it is to kind of reconcile.
Yeah,
I thought that was a great theme about it as well.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, and what was from what I understood in this film, like essentially they were commenting on sort of American gun violence and talking about how sometimes it's because it's so prevalent. There's sort of a an attraction to the aesthetic, and sometimes not even quite literally. It's sort of the attraction to aesthetic. invites people to plan this stuff. In the case of and all and what it takes is just to get them out of the headspace. Like what happened with Zendaya's character. She initially was attracted. She mentioned she was attracted to aesthetic. She wanted to. She was like her dad mentioned she was about the drama, and that involved. Now she moved from just acting out to like playing out real life scenarios, and then how she got out of it and became an anti-gun. She became a gun violence protester. She was going to anti-gun violence like protests and stuff like that. So how she got out of it was by you know joining the community and stuff like that. So I'm thinking the movie is also talking about how important community is in sort of avoiding this sort of gun reduce or helping mitigate the gun violence epidemic in America.
And it just takes one moment. It doesn't have to have an explanation for you to change your mind on something. I think that was an important theme of the film too.
Yeah. So overall, I just thought this was a very meaty film. A lot to think about. Is very popping. The pacing is incredible. Just overall, a really fantastic watch. Honestly, I would give this. Right now, out of theater, I'm giving this a 4 out of 5. That's how strongly I feel about it. Really fantastic film.
4 out of 5, really. I was going
Yeah.
to give it a 4.5 out of 5.
Okay, you feel that way?
I,
Okay,
I feel
okay.
that way.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I thought it was really good.
I might have to rewatch it. Maybe it'll go up on a rewatch. I'm not saying my rankings are not fixed. Sometimes they go up or they go down based on rewatches and over time. But right now I'm feeling a 4 out of 5 right now. So
Right. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else about the movie we didn't discuss? Oh, no, so good. Support movies like this, please. If you see this, just see it immediately, please. This is like the only movie that's showing, only theater that's showing the film here in Edmonton, and it's kind of driving me insane because I think this is a movie that should be watched by the masses.
yeah, all the way back in like just as far back as 20-25 years ago, a mid-budget film like this would have brought like a huge audience to theaters. But now most people see something like this and they're thinking, "Oh, I'll see that on streaming." A lot of people have this idea of movie theaters as being like big spectacle. They can't go out to see films unless there's a promise of there's a guarantee of getting some kind of satisfaction for their money, and if there's a promise of spectacle. And I can't say I blame them. Tickets are high, so again, it's all unfortunate, but like this film is really worth your time. You should go absolutely go see it. Fantastic film. I'm just really impressed. I've not seen too many films by the director, but he'll be on my watch list for now. And I saw this was produced by Ariasta, and I love Ariasta films, and he's also someone sorry, yes, his name on this, Zendaya, Robert Pattinson, and I was already hooked. And yeah, so this director is going on my watch list as well. I'm going to watch out for more projects from him.
Same here. I'm looking forward to what he cooks up next.
All right. So that is our out of theater thoughts on the drama by starring Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, directed by Kristoffer.
Christopher, I
Christopher,
think it
yeah,
is.
Christopher is spelled with a K. It's a bit weird, but I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Christopher. So I'll just call him Christopher, and I'll for sure be on watch out for the films from him. And yeah, that's our thoughts, and go check it out. Thank you for coming for today's podcast, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.
Good night.